welcome to the Bed Podcast. Today we are joined by Johnny Lew, Rambling Saints of Rambling Saints Podcast. We're talking about Hull versus Saints, the quarterfinal challenge cup.
Yeah, we are. Can't wait for it. Can't wait for it. 2.5 hour trip.
Yeah. Just glad we're not on the other side of it, so we have to travel there because I don't think it's a very long journey for both teams, obviously. So yeah, how are you feeling going into it?
Extremely confident. Obviously, we've kind of we had a little chat before we started recording, and we've hit form at the right moment. I think it's. I've said all season that Saints will click, Saints will click, Saints will click, and even I started doubting that it was probably going to happen, and it was kind of I'm waiting, and just magic weekend happened. We had a fully fit squad, and it just seemed to just be right. Let's roll into the Wolf years, and the line speeds back. The attacking shape looks like it's not fully there, but looking a lot more threatening than it was in the early season. So I'm extremely confident. I'd have been less confident had you not have lost Jake Clifford the week before. I think he is I've said all year he's my favourite 7, and I think he is the best 7 in the comp. So that's a huge loss for you guys.
Yeah, definitely. I think that was the one person you'd think that going into that St Helens game, there's a chance. And as soon as he went off against Lee, you just thought, and then you saw that he failed to try here. Then it was a definite, probably it's a big loss. And not only that, he's I agree with you saying he's the best 7 in the comp, because I think you can see his NRL class, and you can see, and he's only young, and I think Newcastle Knights have probably let go of a really good player. And I mean, I'm not complaining because he's been brilliant for us, and we'll do very lucky to keep hold of him when his 2 years comes up, because obviously NRL clubs will be all over him. Even after just these 6 months of the season, 4 months of the season, I think he's just been an unreal player for us. And from what I've seen so far, and especially even you saw Magic him linking up with Hoy and Truman for the first time, and I think that's what we've been needing. Obviously, last year we had Conor Reynolds and Gale, which was our worst span, I think, ever.
On paper, that sounds a really good sparring, though. Like, on paper, that it should work, but it just didn't.
No, it was awful. But obviously, looking at it now, that it's such a young span as well. And I mean, Truman's really impressed. I think he's really shone since he's left Cass. I think he had that really good game against them for Huddersfield, and obviously did. I don't know what injury it was, but obviously he was out for a long time. So, which he's took a while getting back into it, but he has, and he's looking good, and he probably really does need to step up this week against you guys, because I mean, otherwise, I think it's also a really big time for Ben McNamara to step up, because I'd imagine he's going to play 7, and I think it's his time to shine. He's got to. Otherwise, I mean, I think it's probably him done. As much as he's not really done anything for us. Like, I wouldn't say he's been brilliant.
He had a stellar debut, though. I do remember his debut, because didn't he get man of the match in that as well?
I think so. Yeah, he scored a try, didn't he?
I don't know whether that was just because it was one of Ben, and it was kind of like the hype of it. But he did have a solid game in his debut.
Yeah, I think, but then again, I think it's just since then it's kind of just gone downhill. I thought, like, I'm all for bringing up the youth and everything like that, and I think it'd be brilliant, because it's obviously Steve McNamara's son, and I think obviously he's an old lad, and I think it would be really good for one day him to be our 7 or 6 even, and that'd be brilliant. But it's just At the minute, he's just not there. Yeah. And
Yeah,
even at the start of the season, that sixth spot was it for his taking, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't think Tony Smith if he was on form, would have took him out because Truman's back. I think he'd have kept him in if he was on form, but obviously he wasn't. And injuries have hurt him a lot as well. I mean, it's hinders his career as well. But I think he's had plenty of chances to make that six points. His and even when Reynolds left, I think he could have done, but obviously,
yeah.
yeah,
It's the way I look at Hull's squad is it sort of, especially, it was kind of built around individuals rather than an actual
yeah,
team ethic. Whereas
yeah,
this year, obviously it doesn't. You don't get rid of the deadwood in one pre-season. There's still a lot of deadwood to get rid of. Adam Swift wasn't one of them, but
no,
obviously he's left the door, and obviously because he wants to kind of move closer to home, which is fair enough, really. But like what likes of McIntosh, he is one of the worst defenders I've ever seen play in Super League.
Yeah.
And that is one weakness that I think, because he'll be on your right hand side, which is against Ritson and Percival.
Yeah.
That to me, Saints don't have a field day on that left hand side. I'd be shocked. Even though most of our tries have come down our right this year, I think on Saturday we've got to target if McIntosh is on that wing, because I feel like Swift is solid enough as a defender. Like in his early days at Saints, he used to shoot out a lot, but that seems to have gone kind of out of his game. He seems to hold his position really, really well. That overlap potential for me is it's screaming at Percival or Ritson 2+ tries for me. I can just see Saints really targeting that edge, and you never know. He may well pull it out the bag, and he may well make me eat my words. But that's my one worry about the FC side. And obviously Tex Hoy isn't exactly famed for his defensive effort, but what he brings in attack, decent enough. So he's one player I think you've got to stick to.
Yeah.
Tex Hoy. I don't think he does well chopping and changing and going in and out of teams. Although he needs to start running more straight, because in the NRL, whenever he played for Newcastle, whenever I watched him, he travelled more ground sideways than he did forwards. So once he gets that dynamic run, like you've seen it at was it Magic Weekend with that try that he scored?
Yeah.
And it was like just he can see stuff and he can do stuff. It's just having that sort of edge and get up and go to kind of go do it. There's a lot of good players in the Hull side.
Yeah.
There is a lot of the kind of transition stage this year. I don't know if you agree with that.
I mean, I do agree. There's plenty of good players in there, and I think Swift, letting go of Swift, I understand why. Like, don't get me wrong, but I think all should have been offering him a lot more. I think money to stay, because he is our best winger.
Yeah, and giving the incentive in order to stay.
I mean, the fact that we're replacing him with Tyndall, which a lot of Hull fans don't like me saying, is he's not brilliant. But replacing Tyndall is awful. I think if we replace McIntosh, I'd be happy. But it's Swift. And I think Swift and Sutcliffe have made a really, really good left side. Really good left side. And, you know what? On their day, they're brilliant. And Swift is really... I don't know if you'll have seen, but there's been a few times when we was on Hodgson where Connor passed him and he'd overread the pass. But with Smith, he always seems to be there, and he seems to be breaking the line a lot more as well. He seems to be making breaks and going through and making gaps for Griffin or Swift. Sutcliffe, sorry. And it's like, you can see he's just improved under Tony Smith. And then he's going to go to Watson, and it's like, well, if Watson's still at Huddersfield, next year. But it's I think it's hard because you can't keep a player that doesn't want to be there. Like if he wants to go home, then you've kind of got to let him. But replacing him with Tyndall is just like awful.
Seems like you've also gone for a cheap option as well.
Yeah,
And like
yeah,
if like Tyndall, I'm not seeing enough to make me go, yeah, you know what, I can see potential there. I really can't. I can't see. For my sort of gut instinct, I don't see a top Super League player there. And I feel like if you're going to go from Adam Swift, who's kind of he's won a Super League title,
yeah.
you know, he's been there, he's done that, and you're replacing him with a rookie, really, who I just don't. Other than him being fast, I really don't see what he brings to a team.
No, neither.
But
I mean,
at least he's not playing on Saturday for you, so you have actually got Adam Swift playing. So
we've got McIntosh on the other wing. So I mean,
has rolled back the years this season.
he has, yeah,
He's been phenomenal. I think he really has been obviously the early days weren't good for season. Like honestly, there was a point where I didn't see you winning another game. It was like you were getting tonked every week, and I was in shock because I didn't think you'd do. But then now it seems to be like you seem to be going the way I thought you kind of would. You seem to be picking up decent results.
Yeah,
And like I say, Josh Griffin's been instrumental with that.
Oh. I mean, yeah, I'd give him another year. I think at the start of the year I wouldn't have said that, but I think he's just been he breaks the line so many times, and he's so unbelievably good. He's what we thought Jordan Lane was going to be. He was in the first couple of seasons, and now he's just average. He's just a very average player, and I think the fact. I don't know why Savelio was ever dropped. Obviously going on to second rows, but I don't know why Savelio was ever dropped. I don't know if it was injuries or whatnot. But if he was dropped, it should never ever have been, because I think he was one of our best back rowers. Like he fought off players, and I think even in that Warrington game when we did get hammered, he still was okay. Like he had a very but I think there is very much like Lane. I don't know how he gets into the team.
Yeah,
like I don't see what
I
he
agree
does.
with that.
I think for me it should be Griffin and Savelio. I can't speak highly enough of Griffin at the minute. He just keeps scoring, and it's unbelievable. Like that left hand side he's really good. Like I think that is our main threat in attack, which I'd think Makinson and who's your
it'd
centre?
be Makinson and Hurrell.
Hurrell defending that side.
But
Hurrell
you
has
do
been
have
caught.
Joe Batchelor.
Hurrell has been caught out by Griffin a lot. I seem to remember that Leeds game in 2021 where I think he just
We don't talk about Leeds, Conrad, though. We don't talk about a different Conrad.
Yeah, he is a different player now, isn't he? But yeah, I think that left hand side will be a threat for you, but then it's like our right hand side will be just strolling to you. I think, yeah. It's McIntosh that don't trust Tumavave, and it's like, why? Because Tumavave is well and truly good enough defensively. You just need to stay on your man. Like, yeah, we've got a lot of issues defensively, I think, but on that right hand side, I just think the left hand side defensively is better, and attacking wise is probably better. Like, I don't know what happened. We signed McIntosh for pace, and he's just not got any pace at all. Like,
Because you seem to have bought players that looked really good when they were younger. Just seem to have never kicked on when they've joined you. Like you had Jake Connor.
Yeah.
He a lot of affection with Hull fans with Jake Connor, but for me, he's the most overrated player in Super League for the fact that for every great thing he does, he will do just as much stupid decisions, stupid sort of errors. And I think as a team ethic and a team effort, I don't think he's good to have around the dressing room. But obviously, that's coming from an outsider's point of view. I've no idea. The players may well say, yeah, he's a great. But from the outside looking in, I just don't see like that sort of team player. And like, but with McIntosh, he's just never kicked on. He looked really good at Huddersfield.
Yeah.
And I thought, like, when you signed him, I thought they've got a stellar, decent little player, and he's just gone backwards. And he seems to me like he'll be Championship player next year. I don't even see a Super League team offering him a contract.
No, but I mean, with Connor, I do agree that he had one good moment, and then he was kind of like one step forward, two step back with him. But I think we did. In fairness, getting rid of him to get Clifford was probably the best thing the club's done in the last few years.
I agree.
Because the quality Clifford has is absolutely amazing. You just can see it. And I think the only thing I would disagree, like the only thing I would criticise about Clifford, and I've tweeted this before, is his kicking game. I think it's just very much bombs, and that's not good in that. But when you say you're 10 points up against the team with 10 minutes to go, you'd want to be kicking into corners and giving them scrums on their 10 or whatever, and putting pressure onto them. And I think it showed. I think when we played Wigan, we won because of our defence. And I think Harry Smith kicked us to death, I'm pretty sure. And I think Clifford just kept bombing it, and there's only the odd occasion where he kicked to touch. I think it's just he is more of a running halfback as well, and even his goal kicking isn't brilliant. I think against Lee, I'm pretty sure Sutcliffe took over the kicks and converted 2 out of 2. So I'd imagine Sutcliffe will be our goal kicker this week, sorry. But his goal kicking's not brilliant either. I think the Salford game, I think it cost. I wouldn't say it cost us, but it could have done. There's games where it can cost you kicking it. I mean, you look at it. We had Sneed who wouldn't miss a kick at all, and then I think it's hard because he's a brilliant player, but kicking game wise, it's very sort of it's difficult to say really.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking to a Saints fan, mate. Goal kicking with us. Come on, we got. So, did you see the game against Wigan where he hit the post dead easy, an easy position, and then about 2 minutes later, touchline, he boots it from there. So he misses all the easy ones and he kicks all the hard ones. It's unbelievable. We're just lucky that at the minute we're scoring that many tries. Kicks don't matter. I absolutely adore Tommy Makinson, but it's becoming a bit of a joke on the terraces. He'll miss literally ones that are just left of the sticks or just right, and then he'll kick the ones that are right out on the touchline. It's just you know what, and that's sometimes the beauty of rugby league is sometimes it goes for you and sometimes it doesn't. And I think even that Tommy can go out, score 4 tries, and then miss 2 kicks right in front of the stick. So it's just it rugby league is for it, because right now the most confident man ever, come half-2 kickoff, I will be one of the most nervous.
Yeah.
It's the beauty of the cup, innit? It doesn't matter. As soon as it gets closer to kickoff, you go, oh no, the nerves start.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's
and if you're the underdog, you start believing, you know what, we could do this.
Yeah.
The favourites, you start going, we're gonna flap it. So it's just beautiful, and that's what I love. And obviously, last time I went to Wembley was 2019, watching us lose, because I couldn't unfortunately go to 2021. So before that, last time I went was 2007.
Was 8?
I'm not sure. We won it, but I can't remember if I went.
You played us.
Yeah. I did go. 2008 was I went and seen us win,
Yeah.
which is quite a long time ago. I was only 11.
I was 2, so I mean, yeah, I didn't go.
You guys have had more success recently
Yeah,
in the cup.
yeah. Obviously, I'm back to back. I mean, 2016 is probably I cried happy tears. The first time I've seen us win at Wembley. I was good in 2013, getting beat 16-0 by Wigan. I mean, it wasn't expected us to win. I think a big final getting there. It is heartbreaking losing. You know what I mean? Like I think it's the first time I've seen us lose a final.
Especially a little kid and that.
Yeah, and then obviously 2016 getting there. I think our best ever season. Like, you know, I mean, we can speak. Obviously, playing you in the round 6, scorching hot day. That blue and yellow kit we had with the Love Life, whatever sponsor on.
Yeah.
I mean, well, that was a good day. I mean, I don't know how many old fans. I think we nearly packed out the stand. I don't want to say we. I think we did. Looking on BBC on the highlights, it looks like we did, but I don't know if we did. You know, and
I have a squad that year still though, so.
And it's just like, you know, that game, no one ever thought, oh, we could win at Wembley this year. You just think, oh, you know, we're through the quarterfinals, you know, we'll see how it takes us. You know, it is like, it's mental health to think that a cup game, it all starts at one game here there, and your 3 games, you're at Wembley. It's like, you know, I do think the Challenge Cup should be sort of restructured, and so Super League teams don't have to just win 3 games and get there. I think should have to do more, and I think it would help Championship clubs out a lot as well, because if they're getting away a home tie to like a Super League club who, you know, will bring a good following, I think you know, the amount of money they make from it would be big for them.
I mean, you only have to look at Saints and Halifax in the last
Yeah,
round.
exactly.
Saints took over 2,000 people. Like, I think it was nearly closer to 3,000 than it was to 2. And it was like, could you imagine that? Like, for a Championship club to get that much income? Like, when we went Whitehaven, a League One club, and we took over 1,000 there. And it's like, the amount of money that makes them, and booze, in food, in all that sort of stuff. It like, I think. And not only that, ticket admission, because I know Saints donated their share to Whitehaven. Like that can help them run the club for the next 2 years. So it's like, it's huge, the cup games. And I think they need to do it like the Spanish Cup, you know, in La Liga, where if you get drawn against a lower league side, you always play away, no matter when you get drawn out.
That makes sense.
So,
but I mean, then you look at it, Warrington are even taking over like 3,000 to Warrington to Wigan, so they're taking 2,000, and it's literally 10 minutes away on train. It's like you know, and I get why St Helens are bringing many, because it's a really.
I mean, it's still bringing 1,000. Like, it's not.
Yeah, exactly. It's not
We
bad.
sold out 800 of our first allocation, and we got more. So you're looking about 1,000 fans, which for a 2.5-hour journey, and it's on BBC. You know, it's
not awful, no. But like a 10-minute journey, it is like, you know, you'd expect more. But then
you
again,
need to sell out your end.
But then again, Wigan having, you know, they've had like we brought more than casted in the sixth round. Like we absolutely just out, like, you know, like it just shows that the cup is, you know, it is, you know, like the attendances are poor for cup games, and I think it will be on Saturday. I think we'll probably just about get 10,000. I think maybe more, but it's not, you know. Yeah, it's worrying considering I'm pretty sure the tickets are quite cheap as well for us. Like usually they're 20 quid.
Yeah, because normally the away tickets are like 28 quid.
Yeah.
Like upwards of 30, and like now, and like I think the adult price was 24, and then like the young adult was 18, which is like what you pay at Saints really.
Yeah.
And then I think like the child's a fiver, so
Yeah.
it's like
Junior members, fathers at least. I think he might be free actually.
three for a
Yeah.
member,
Yeah.
and a fiver if you're a non-member.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like they've really done the pricing. That pricing should be what it is for Super League games. So
Yeah, and then obviously
obviously it's owned by the football club, though, isn't it? So they set the prices and all that.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but with the crowds and that, I think a lot of things are with league members and a lot of season ticket holders. They're kind of annoyed that they have to pay for a cup ticket when they've got a season ticket. So I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of them, especially when they're on BBC, will just go, "I'm not giving them more money." Like
Yeah.
you think like
You're paying for your pass that's completely
yeah.
different to the cup games, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, everyone knows what they're buying into, but a lot of fans
so
have
you
that view.
think that, you know.
But it is what it is, isn't it? At the end of the day, we'll be there. We'll be cheering them on. So
Yeah.
that's all that matters, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. 8:30 coach in the morning. So we'll be in the marina for about 11. And it'll be that hot, I'll probably be jumping in.
Yeah.
It's going to be an absolute scorcher, so I'd hate to be on that pitch side.
Yeah.
Do water break.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think, yeah, I am looking really forward to it. To be honest, I know we'll probably get hammered, but we're different. I mean, look, at the end of the day, we gave you a game in round 5. I think.
Yeah.
So you've got to look at it in that sense. Like it could happen. It's not impossible, but without Clifford, it does make it pretty impossible. But
Who will be playing 7, do you reckon?
McNamara probably. But people have suggested Hoy and then play Litton fullback, but I'm not really keen because I think.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Hoy plays fullback or not at all.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my opinion.
Um,
If you put him in that defensive line, then it'll be a walkover, in my opinion. I think you've got to keep him out of that defensive line.
Yeah, I agree. I would just play McNamara 7 and just play it safe. I did say
he does tackle a lot, McNamara, though. So that is one.
Yeah, but I did say maybe put Tumavave or Sutcliffe at 6, and I've
7.
Yeah, and maybe just put Cam Scott at centre. I think because Tumavave's played 6 before in 2016.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's our best season. So you look at that. Maybe
is that how long he's been there?
Yeah.
God, I always keep thinking that like he's only been there a couple of years, but he's not. He's been there about probably be near a testimonial year.
Yeah, he extended his contract in 2020 to 4 years, so I think he might be up next year. So I don't know whether he'll carry on or retire, because I don't know whether he'll want to move on. Like, you know, he's really injury prone a lot at the moment. So it's like, do you stick with him and hope that you don't get injuries as much, which you know is going to happen, or Sam?
Older you get, more chance of injuries as well. So it's yeah. Have you got anyone coming up through the ranks at centre or?
Yeah, we've got Harvey. I don't know. Harvey Brown's a winger. I think he's played centre before, but who else? I know there's Waka Kirky. I think he's played there. We had someone on trial. I can't think of his name. His name's just gone out of my mind. He played against Salford on trial back in the reserves, and I cannot think who it is. But I know, like,
probably another Fijian masterclass that you've got. tend to just pluck them out of nowhere.
Yeah. Just bring back Ratu. I say instead of Tyndall, just pay Ratu whatever he wants.
He was classy.
Honestly, yeah.
But,
I think obviously. So we played Saints in the cup. We played Saints in the cup quarterfinals in 2018. Obviously, we lost out by 2 points, maybe. I think 1 point.
Yeah, I think it was a close game. I remember that.
Yeah. I remember having I think we had 11 men at 1 point because we had 2 sin bins. I think it was Washbrook and Houghton. Yeah, and I the one thing I remember from that game, minus the 2 sin bins and all that, is that Maludi try.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, but obviously that I really thought we could have won that game, because obviously that cup was ours then, we was holders, and I think you could tell we wanted it, you could tell and I think it's just that's what we now we've won the 2 cups, we want it every year. I mean, obviously you would anyway, but all fans, it's the one thing. I still I'd still take Old Trafford over winning this again. Don't get me wrong, but if I could win it again, I'd happily would.
Yeah, it's especially the thing that worries me as well about this game is that it feels like seasons started off that Trafford is probably out of the question. So it seems to me like it's Challenge Cup or bust, which gets me really quite worried. Just because I feel like that as a mentality for a player is look, it's we'll try to get to Old Trafford, but it's not looking likely. Let's go all out for this and let's go and win some silverware. And especially the fact that, you've won it, 3 times?
5 times.
5 times. And quite recent as well. You've had quite a good runs in the cups.
Yeah.
It's be playing on the players' mind and they'll be kind of really motivated for this.
We've still got a few players from the team that won it as well, so
that does worry me. But yeah, like I say, it's. I don't think it'll be as I'm thinking it will right now. But yeah, I just hope it's a good game. To be honest, I just hope that Hull do themselves justice and Saints do themselves justice. I just hope that nothing's left on the pitch. I hope we both go for it because there's nothing worse than a game, and especially a cup game, and it's you feel like if one team's better, but when you know that one team doesn't pull out the best game, that's when you kind of get left disappointed. But especially because BBC cameras are there, and I just hope for it to be a good advert for the game. Hopefully get a few more neutral eyes tuning into rugby league and going, wow, what a sport.
Yeah, I think it is a game that it could be a really good advert for the game, and it could either be a thrashing and a game that looks obviously the Channel 4 game in last year when we got thrashed by it. It could be like that again, or it could be a close game like it was on Sky. It's it is. It really just depends on what Hull turn up. Just we're such we're inconsistent, but not now. We are. I think the games we've lost at the minute, before Tony Smith came, and obviously before the big 8-game run or 7-game run, whatever it was, we did get thrashed every time we got beat. We'd never just get beat; we'd always get hammered every time. But now it seems to be we're just getting beat. I think it was 12 points against League, only against Salford. I think it was 6 points against Salford. We're getting, we're close in games. We're not a million miles away. But I think before that, it was just 40 points. Like it was ridiculous. I think we conceded 60 twice in 2 weeks against Castleford and Wigan.
Yeah.
So you can see in that case we've improved, but you don't know whether it could happen again. Like
Yes.
I'm not fully confident that it's because there's still the same faces in the team. That it's not Tony Smith's team yet. Like you do worry it could happen again.
Yeah, like me growing up as a kid, I used to remember the whole ground as being a fortress. So like it used to be really hard, especially under John Keir when you had him as the coach. It used to be really hard to kind of win games for Saints, and I don't know if other fan bases sort of had the same experience, but over the recent history, it's kind of been like the opposite. It's kind of been like
Yeah.
when you've kind of conceded too early tries, you've tended to go on and concede 50, 60 points at home. And it was like really out of character for the whole side that I grew up like fearing whenever we went away to them. And that to me was the biggest worry. And I think like I was listening to the Loose Forward podcast and I can't remember the stat for the life of me, but it was because Hull obviously haven't beat Saints in so many years, and that stat also worries me because like the Leeds first game of this year, they haven't beat us since 2018, and then they come out and beat us. So that stat I hate because it seems like whenever that comes out, you lose. But it was something like out of the games that we've played, like conceded an odd points, but scored 600 and something. I'll have to try. I'll re-listen to the podcast and the stats bit, and I'll put it in under the tweet of this podcast. I can't remember, but it was something ridiculous, like over 600 points conceded in that time, and it's like averaging like something like 38 points a game conceded against us, and it was like, wow, it was like a ridiculous number, and I was like them. I always hate them stats because I always find that they'll bite you in the backside when they come out. So it wouldn't surprise me now if Hull somehow miraculously pull out this victory out of the back draw. So.
I hope so, mate. Honestly, I don't think I'd celebrate. I think I'd celebrate like I never have before. Mate, honestly, I don't know. Yeah, it'd be mental. If we win on Saturday, I honestly, I've already said it to one of my mates. I've said if we win on Saturday, I fully believe that we can go and win the cup. I think we've already, we've just beat the world. If we beat the World Cup champions, who is really stopping us?
Full strength World Cup champions as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then as soon as you get Clifford back for the semi-finals, and if it's at Doncaster, it's a godsend because we don't lose there. I'm going to jinx it if we win. This is going to come back. But yeah, I've already said like if we do win that game, I'd rather win.
I'd rather it be at Doncaster
than
than
Thursday. I don't care about the 2 points. I'd rather win on Thursday than on Saturday than Thursday. Like
too right. Everyone would.
Exactly, but like I think it couldn't be a worse team to play, but then again, it couldn't be a better time to beat you. So it's like it is.
Swings
it
and
is
roundabouts, and it's like it's one way of like what. See, we're in a not a win-win scenario, but you can't sort of lose because if you lose, everyone expected you to lose, and if you win, you've got best in victories that you'll probably ever have. So it's one of them, isn't it? It's like all fans sat there. You go, you know what? It's like said. And it was like the half-2 kickoff. As soon as that kickoff comes around, you start to believe, don't you? So
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And you know what? All it takes is a few decisions, a couple of knock-ons, and it's anyone's game, really. So it'll be exciting. Forward to it. Well, I'm not looking forward to the early morning, but I'm looking forward to the game.
I mean, you say that we might get a few decisions, but it's Kendall's referee, so whenever we have
Well,
Kendall against you, you always seem to get the decisions, so I doubt it. Yeah.
someone says this, and then I just refer them to that Leeds game at the start of the year. So,
That is
so I just refer them to that. And you know what? Referees have good games, referees have bad games, and I think
yeah.
I try to be as neutral as I can with everyone. But when your team plays, you always
Yeah,
are
it's hard
biased.
to be neutral on it. You can't, like, you know.
In every other game, I'm neutral as anything. And I
Yeah,
love stuff,
yeah, but when
Twitter
I play,
arguments
I'm
because you
like,
try
bro.
and do.
Yeah,
Yeah, and as soon as it happens, it's like I always like winding people up. So on Good Friday when they had Liam Moore, I was like, tweeted about a Wigan ref, and then it was like, oh, I was like, I'm joking. I was like, he's just either having an off game or, you know, things happen and they always try and even things up anyway. If one team gets a good first half, they'll try even it up the second half. So
yeah,
it always happens, and you know, I just hope that it's a good game of rugby league. That's what I
yeah,
hope.
100%. I mean, I hope both teams. Well, I hope all play well. For that matter, 'cause I think Saints will play well after the last few weeks.
Will Savelli be playing? No, I'm assuming. Has he
Bench.
still been dropped, or is he?
No, he's been on the bench the past 2 weeks. I think he might be on the bench.
He's one player that in academy at Saints. I'm not messing. He's the one player, best academy product I've ever seen at Saints, and I think a lot of staff will agree with that opinion. He was phenomenal. He was a wrecking ball, and you could put him anywhere in that forward pack, apart from hooker, obviously, and he'd just do a sterling job. And he had such raw, natural talent, but attitude at Saints thing that let him down, and I feel like
Yeah,
it's sort of travelled with every
yeah,
club
yeah,
he's gone to, and that's one sad thing about it. Because I think genuinely, I've never seen as good of an academy product as he looked, and the way he sort of like left Saints, and the way he sort of, well, his mother wasn't the great manager. I think of him and the ego and everything else, and
yeah,
it's just kind of some fans say like, oh, it's just Saints fans being bitter. It's not. It's just it seems to have
yeah,
travelled with him for every club. Even when he was at Brisbane, I've heard a lot of Aussie thingy when he got the ACL. I've heard that he didn't really what's the word? Didn't really like put himself forward enough and didn't go in with the right mindset with that injury.
yeah,
And that's how we ended up back over here with obviously you guys. But it's such a it's not a waste of talent. He's still a talented player, but I just feel like he had the world at his feet from what I've seen of him growing up.
I
So
mean, I,
you never know. He may well come off the bench, score an hat trick, and take you to Wembley in the end. So who
yeah,
knows? Take you on
I,
the road to Wembley.
I mean, as much as that is, and I think it's not only his attitude. I think his injuries have really hindered his career as well. I think he seems to have a really good spell in 2020 to 2021 with us, where he'd have really really like so many back like really so many. I think he had so many consecutive games, and I think he got injured. Um, no, it was to 2022, and then he got injured against Huddersfield in the cup in the quarterfinal, and then didn't play, and then he obviously didn't play until Carlam. And I think that is the one thing where I think he just has his injuries really have hindered him. But I think you know I've never really noticed his attitude at all. I don't. I mean, you know, but I'm not.
There was the whole thing earlier on in the season about shopping round clubs and him kind of having a hissy fit. I don't know whether it was press or what, but there
Yeah,
was a good couple of articles about a tantrum, and I think that's why Smith dropped him.
yeah. I just
Wembley.
like. I've never seen the attitude, and obviously I'm not in the. I'm not training with him personally. I'm not there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it won't surprise me because Smith doesn't take no shit, does he? You know what I mean?
No,
He's he,
famous for it.
like he's he's honest. He won't he won't take anything from you. He wants the best out of you, and I think who else better to sort your attitude out with Tony Smith? I think he's probably the most
Yeah,
perfect manager to have to sort it out. I think he will put you down to earth and he'll make you realise, look, it's not all about me. He will make you he will make you an honest player, and I think he'll make you a better player at that as well. And I think
yeah,
he's made maybe that is why he dropped him, because maybe he was like, you know what, you give a shit attitude, you'll get drops, you won't play, and then look, you'll realise, and it probably has made him realise, and that's why he's not getting picked. Or it could have just been an injury. I don't know, because a lot of all fans were complaining, why isn't he playing? He's a lot better than Lane. But then again, it's Tony Smith's side, and you cannot
yeah,
complain what the coach says, because we can trust him full well, and we know we can, because he's got us out of that rut that we was in earlier on in the season, and
yeah.
he's made us look a lot better side. So you just got to. You have just got to trust the process, and I've even predicted us to finish 8th this season, because I'm not expecting anything this year. I'm just expecting complete rebuild season. Don't fall off at the end of the season. Just keep going. If you finish 8th, but you've given it a go, I'm happy. And then try and get playoffs next season, maybe, or even if you don't, at least if we're pushing for it, I'm happy. I just I think all fans know full well that it's a rebuild season. It's never was. Tony Smith was never coming in to just get us playoffs. He was coming in to sort the club out and the culture and everything like that. So I think obviously we haven't had, fingers crossed, we haven't had the June downfall that we always have. But who knows? But again,
Well, I think you've had that prematurely. I think you've sorted that in the early season, to be honest.
March.
So, last thing I want to ask is Mr. Mullet Man playing, or is he out? Mr. Brad Thatch, is he still out?
He'll be playing, yeah.
No, sadly.
Yeah, great player.
I just can't make my mind upon him. I really can't.
I just think, right, many old fans didn't like him at the start, and then he showed he don't make that many meters, but he's 100% every week, and that is something. I think that's something to players should look up to him and think, I should be doing that every week. You know what I mean? Like, I should be working my ass off for this club. I get paid by him. You know what I mean? Like, it's I think you can tell he's an old man as well, so full well that he cares about the club, and I think 100%. I think he's probably Mr. 100%.
Yeah, sure, we'll be seeing a lot of tweets about Mr. Mav. now we know he's playing. So, but I'm gonna get off anyway because I've just finished work. Is that all right, Keegan?
Yeah, that's fine.
Sweet. So, do you want to do a little outro?
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll sort all this out tomorrow, but I'm knackered, mate.
It's all right.
I'm gonna have a bowl of Cocoa Pops and go to bed.
Yeah, so it's different at night.
Defo, mate.
Well, thank you for coming on, mate, and we'll see you next week. Cheers.